Mexico City. Enormous, yet charming. Hectic and peaceful. Gritty, yet colorful. Both rich and poor. It is the largest city in North America with a metropolitan area of over 21 million. Once the capital of the Aztecs, a city where engineering, architecture, technology, and art flourished at the same time that Europe remained in the Dark Ages. It became the first stop in the New World and now reflects that blend of indigenous and Spanish culture at every turn. Join me as I spend 7 days exploring this exciting metropolis. Hi, I'm Alfie. In 2020, the pandemic struck, my father died suddenly, and my 6-year relationship came to an end. I fell into a severe depression and decided I needed a change in order to heal and find some joy in life again. So I quit my teaching job, packed my bags, and left small-town New Jersey to travel south of the border, practice my Spanish, and start this travel vlog. I'll share all my adventures, travel tips, and hopefully inspire you to visit these places as well. This is Gringo Interrupted. Okay, day 5 in Mexico City is actually going to be getting out of Mexico City for the day. We're going to Teotihuacan. It is a little after 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm up this early and getting a head start because I want to get to Teotihuacan before all the tour buses get there and it gets super crowded. You can take a tour right from Mexico City, but that tour brings you to the Basilica of Guadalupe first, makes a few stops, and gets you into Teotihuacan later in the day when it's super crowded. So I would suggest you go on your own if you're interested in being there before everybody else gets there. It is a cloudy day today, which is actually a good thing because there is no shade at Teotihuacan, so make sure you wear sunscreen and a hat, especially if it's going to be a super sunny day. I'm going to use all public transport to get to Teotihuacan, and I'm going to show you how to do that. First, the subway. Basically, you need to get to the bus station called Autobuses del Norte, which has a stop on the number 5 metro line, which most likely means you'll have to make a transfer at La Raza, an enormous subway station that includes a glowing constellation map on the ceiling. Once at the bus station, head left towards Sala 8 and look for this sign. Purchase both your departure and return ticket. After a quick security check, go outside and make sure you're waiting in the correct line. Ask someone to be sure. The bus ride is a little less than an hour. Fuel up with some tamales for breakfast before entering the park. So I fell asleep on the bus and I almost missed the stop to get off. And then when I went to get off, I had a mini panic attack because I couldn't find my camera in my bag. And I was like, great, somebody fucking stole it. I got robbed. It was in a different pocket of my bag, so. There are 5 puertas, or entrances, to the park. The bus will drop you off and pick you back up at Puerta 2, which is directly across from the Pyramid of the Sun. Restrooms are only available at the entrances, so go before you start. After paying the entrance fee, just walk through the parking lot and directly up to the Pyramid of the Sun. One of the benefits of getting here super early, it is 9:19 right now and they open at 9, is that you're not going to be accosted by like 300 people selling things and offering tours and yada yada yada. So that's another benefit of getting here super early. Don't get me wrong, I hired one of these tour guides on my first trip here and I do recommend it. I would just check their proficiency in English first before booking if you're looking for the tour in English. We don't really know that much about this ancient city. In fact, we don't know what it was actually called. Teotihuacan was the name given to it by the Aztecs, who, by the time they discovered it, had been in ruins some 700 years. We know the area was settled around 400 BC. It reached its peak around 400 AD. Most of its sacred buildings were burned around 500 AD, and it was totally abandoned by the year 700. Although we don't know exactly who its inhabitants were, we know they were here for centuries, had knowledge of the cosmos, were obviously sophisticated engineers and skilled artisans. We know they practiced human and animal sacrifice. We know the gods they worshipped. However, there have never been any evidence of any ruler, making this site different from others in the Americas. Whoever they were, we do know their influence spread far and wide across Mesoamerica. At its peak, it had a population of 200,000 people. We're going to visit the 4 main structures, starting with the Pyramid of the Sun, then Pyramid of the Moon and the Palace of Quetzalpapálotl, walk all the way down the Avenue of the Dead to the Temple of Quetzalcoátl, then to lunch, and finally back to Puerta 2. Altogether, this is 4 miles of walking. If you want to cut it down to 2, skip the Temple of Quetzalcoátl, or go with a tour guide who will often drive you. The largest pyramid at Teotihuacan and the 3rd largest in the world, the Pyramid of the Sun stands more than 200 feet tall and is almost 2,000 years old. In its heyday, its outer walls were sloped and painted red and also had a temple on top. The Teotihuacanos built the pyramid to align with the Cerro Gordo mountain in one direction and to the sunrise and sunset of specific dates in the other direction. Some artifacts have been found, including the sacrificial remains of 4 children, 2 adults, and an eagle with a pyrite disc on its back. Archaeologists also discovered a tunnel that leads to a chamber underneath the pyramid, which may or may not have been a tomb. Having been looted over centuries, the purpose of the pyramid still remains a mystery. Unfortunately, you couldn't climb the pyramids during my visit, and I'm not sure that that opportunity will come back, but I did climb it back in 2019. Walk down the Avenue of the Dead towards the Pyramid of the Moon. On the way, you'll pass by a ton of smaller platforms and notice that you can still see the plaster and some of the red paint on some of them. The Teotihuacanos never subscribed to my channel, and look what happened to them. The Pyramid of the Moon was most likely the stage for public ritual sacrifices. Archaeologists have found many remains inside and outside the pyramid, including some men whose hands were tied behind their back and also decapitated. Excavation has shown the pyramid has 7 different layers, spanning some 300 years, each built on top of the other. In 2017, using an advanced technology, archaeologists discovered a tunnel that runs underneath the pyramid and into the plaza in front. No one has yet been able to enter the tunnel. Right next to the Pyramid of the Moon is the Palace of Quetzalpapálotl, which was built on top of an older structure and was built much later than the pyramids. It was probably home to a high-ranking priest or emperor. What's noteworthy is it contains bas-relief carvings of a bird-like character that we now know as the Teotihuacan owl. Parts of these pillars have been reconstructed. The complex also showcases some incredible murals adorning the walls. Sun is starting to come out. I think it's time to take off my sweatshirt. After the palace, you're going to start your long trek down Avenue of the Dead towards the Temple of Quetzalcoátl. The Aztecs actually named this road Avenue of the Dead because they thought that all these smaller platforms were tombs. I'm going to make this even more terrifying by holding a camera in my hand. The Temple of Quetzalcoátl is extraordinary. Even though the top has completely eroded away, what's left of the lower portion shows us the elaborately carved heads of the gods Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent god, and Tlaloc, the rain god. There would have been obsidian inside the eye sockets of the carved heads so that they would shine when the light hit it. Of course, the temple was painted and the carved heads were blue. The temple sits inside of a larger complex called La Ciudadela, which means citadel, because when the Spanish saw it, they thought it was some type of fortress. But we know now it was a plaza with elite apartments and it could hold 100,000 people. The workers behind me on the temple are spraying and picking the weeds and anything that grows, because the growth deteriorates the stone and separates the stone, so they're trying to keep up with it and make sure that nothing grows on it. Under this tent is the entrance to a once sealed tunnel that was discovered in 2003 after a heavy rainstorm caused a large sinkhole. Sealed with a rock for almost 2,000 years, archaeologists eventually were able to descend into the tunnel. Besides various artifacts, they found a miniature model of a landscape with a lake filled with liquid mercury. Come here. Come on, a little cookie. We'll have a cookie together. What do you think? The guy, one of the 100 guys selling those Jaguar noisemakers that keep scaring the shit out of me, by the way, was like, amigo, para espantes a su suegra. You know, so to scare your mother-in-law. Okay, I am going to attempt to eat lunch at this restaurant that I read about that's in a cave. Google Maps tells me it's a 30-minute walk. It's right outside the archaeological park. So that's where I'm headed now. But I think there's a small museum on the way that I'm gonna check out real quick. But yeah, it's a lot of walking here. It's, you know, you have to wear comfortable shoes and expect a lot of walking. And if you can get here on a cloudy day like today, it's perfect, so the sun isn't blaring down on you. Did I mention it's a lot of walking? So the museum is super tiny. You could go through it in like 20 minutes. If you are planning to go to this restaurant, which I'm about to go to, then I would say go to the museum because it's on the way. But if not, I would say skip it because it's a lot of walking. And now, time to eat. Exit the park at Puerta 5. Make sure you keep your ticket so you can get back in to walk across back to the exit. Follow signs for La Gruta. That's the name of the restaurant. Mucho gusto, igualmente. I got the tour of Mexico, which included a tamal, a steak, flautas, chicken and mole, rice and beans, and I finished with café de olla. This music was cute for the first 20 minutes. At the end of your meal, they give you a candle to take up these stairs as an offering to Cholok, the god of fire, and it is symbolizes a reinvigoration or I don't fucking know, honestly, what he said, but I'm doing it. Here you go, Cholok. Reinvigorate me. Maybe I'll grow some more hair. Okay, the food was really good. Service was excellent. Atmosphere, obviously, was amazing. It's a little expensive, but, you know, you're paying for the atmosphere and everything, so I recommend it. Really cool place. I liked it a lot. And I got to make an offering, so maybe some good things will happen. Exit at Puerta 2 and just stand on the side of the road where you see other people standing for the bus back to Mexico City. Back in Roma Sur. All in all, other than the rain, it was a great day. It stopped raining so far. It looks like it's probably gonna rain again. But maybe my offering to Tlaloc will stop it from coming. I doubt it. Gracias, Charlotte. Check out my next video, day 6, where my friend Poncho and I visit Xochimilco and take a ride on a trajinera.